like a bathing suit.
Whoa.
And he kept saying, like, man, I'm showing a lot of leg.
Well, yeah, you wore a bathing suit inside. What the fuck?
But
Don't act like you don't know what you were doing.
yeah, but the blankets help. It just feels a little bit more comfy.
Yeah.
All right. Serena.
That's me.
Nice.
Hello.
Hello.
Eric.
Yes.
Sick. We're just meeting for the first time.
Yeah. We met in passing, but
Yeah.
nothing, formal or anything.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. But I did just watch your Kill Tony Netflix set again the other day.
Nice.
Because I was like, all right, August, it's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, dang.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel as well. It's so weird, like having 5 months in between, like being offered that and then having to do it. It's like it being on the horizon is just part of my life now. And like the other day, I was in Houston a couple weekends ago, and somebody was like, "Oh yeah, you went to play like Madison Square Garden, right?" And I was like, "Oh no, that's coming. Like that'll be in August." But then I was like, "Oh, eventually that's gonna be in the past, like." I'm gonna have an entire section of my life that's after that happens, and like I can't really conceive of that yet. Because
The only way I can relate is how I feel when a new season of like Game of Thrones is coming out.
Totally, yeah.
And I'm like,
Eventually, you'll have watched it, and you'll be like, "Wow, that was crazy."
That was crazy. That is a lot of time, though. So you've probably been preparing and working on stuff. Do you know how much time you get? Do you know?
So it's going to be the same, like it's just a Kill Tony set. So I'll do another minute, and then I'll do another interview.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm not being invited for like they're not having me do anything special. It's just another appearance on the episode.
That is cool. So there's no real point in signing up or anything.
No, I don't have to sign up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been signing up for the base show, which, I mean, depending on how it goes.
It's kind of nice. You get your Mondays back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, depending on how it goes in August, I might end up signing up again, like after. But yeah, there's just not a lot, like, the only place I can go from here is down, the only thing that could happen is that I do badly on the base show.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because like even doing well, it's like, okay, then
it's like you still got the big thing that's going to happen.
Yeah, like I've got the biggest thing that I possibly could get from being on Kill Tony.
Right.
And so like, yeah, it's not that there would be like no point, but it's like it's just not like a good use of my time.
Right. They probably are looking for a girl that's going to be a regular because I don't think they have any.
Really?
Have they even had one?
I don't know. I don't actually watch Kill Tony.
That's so funny, actually.
I have never seen a full episode of Kill Tony.
Oh my God, that's fucking hilarious. That is so good.
Okay, so this is what happened. So like
that reminds me of like when you talk to like Christian Bale and he's like, I never watch my movies.
I mean, I've watched my I watched my part.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But yeah, this is what happened. So like I didn't move here for Kill Tony. I just moved here for the like comedy scene in general. And I wasn't signing up for Kill Tony, and then a friend of mine talked me into it. He was like, look, like it's whatever you like sort of think he's like, you can get so much out of it. There's no point in not like signing up for like to see if you can get on.
Right.
And I was like, like fair enough. And so I started signing up. And the second time I signed up, they put me on Netflix and invited me to Madison Square Garden.
That's great.
And so I was like, okay, I guess this was.
That kind of makes sense though, because it's usually, I feel like when you don't care too much when things go your way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people show up and they have the expectation of like, I need to do really well in this because this is everything. This is what it's all about. But because you kind of go in with a little bit of a laissez-faire approach, things just sort of land.
Well, it's like gripping too hard. You're like gonna like
you snap
break the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I figured I was like, because a lot of people are like, oh, you must be like watching and preparing, and I was like, the thing is that like, if I try too hard to be prepared for like Kill Tony, then I'll be like too tense. I'll be like, I'll be
it won't
not
be natural.
present. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, if I started off not watching the show, then I have to just keep not watching the show and like not trying to be something for them.
Live your life the way you have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was
because that's what they wanted.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been focusing on just like writing material that like I feel like I would write. And then I was like, eventually, if I'm just writing stuff, I'll end up writing a minute that I think will do well in this room.
Yeah.
And I have a couple contenders, just minutes that I really am liking and playing with. But I still have about 2 months, so I'm like, I'm gonna decide a couple weeks beforehand, really hone in on that joke, and then. But up until then, I'm just trying to like write stuff that I feel good about otherwise and like kind of build out the rest of my material.
Yeah.
Because the thing I want to make sure I have is like material to back it up, because I think I'll probably get some opportunities out of this. And I want to have more than just a minute.
Is your goal to go on the road and do like clubs at other places or?
I would love to be a working stand-up comic, right? And that would be a huge step towards that. I certainly wouldn't turn down the opportunity to go do like club spots, feature spots. My big hope right now and like goal right now is just to like get into regular rotation in Austin so that I'm getting plenty of stage time, and maybe one weekend a month doing Philly, Denver, Chicago, like. I think that is like reasonable for me within the year to be like at that level and just working on it,
That's very reasonable.
and like the thing is that like it takes a long time to get good at stand-up comedy. It takes a lot of reps, right? And
yes.
Like, I've been comparing it to weightlifting a lot because like I also lift and like I am not all around strong enough to be like a full-time club comic yet,
That's conscious. Yeah, that's very aware of you.
I have to build all of that like muscle,
You've been doing it a year and a half?
About 2 now. Yeah.
2. Okay.
It's like a little bit more than that. But because I was in such a small place, like I just like didn't get the same kind of stage time.
Right.
So
that's the way I always explain it to myself, at least, is stand-up comedy is you show up to a place, you wait in line, you're there for maybe an hour watching other people, and then you get like 3 minutes.
Right.
Or 4 or something. And that's not enough time to get good at something super fast.
Right.
Because it's like, the 10,000 hours.
Right.
It's that. But the fact that you can only get maybe, 10, 15 minutes a week if you're really hitting it, that doesn't build up fast enough. It takes years.
Well, yeah, and it's like as you get better, you get more time, and also you get more access to audience, right?
Yeah.
And so like you get better faster. But yeah, it just takes time, and like it's not like musicians where they can practice on their own, right?
Yeah.
Like we have to be doing this in front of people.
Yeah.
And it's such a gift. Like someone's attention is such a gift that they give you.
Yeah.
And like. Yeah, just like so it's so humbling to be like, oh my gosh, like you're paying attention to me, and like, yeah, I feel like the open mics really give you a respect for that, and a really like
for sure,
just such gratitude for like, wow, like someone looking up and paying attention to me speaking after like months of like other comics just like in their own notes is like, wow, like thank you,
Yeah, it is actually kind of miraculous. Yeah. Because I do a lot of long-winded stories and stuff, and when I see someone stick it all the way out to the end, I'm like, there is a feeling of gratitude there.
Yeah,
like, dang, dude, you stuck it out. That feels good.
Yeah, who's really paying attention, and like, I try to remember that when I'm feeling like annoyed at other performers. I'm like, like I can be the person giving that gift right now, like I can. Like whether it's someone just like playing on the street, like playing, like busking on the street or whatever, just like I can like watch for a second and be like,
yeah, why'd you get into it?
I've always loved comedy. My dad loves comedy, and we used to listen to like George Carlin on the way to school, and like others. But I just always have loved comedy, loved making jokes, and like both of my parents at different times of my childhood were like, you should like write this down. Like you.
Oh, that's very supportive.
Yeah. Well, I remember one time specifically, I was like making my mom and sister laugh really hard in the car, talking about the like goldfish ad campaign about like the snack that smiles back. And
Yeah.
I was like, why is someone smiling at their snacks before eating? Like, that's so creepy.
Yeah.
And they were like, just like laughing really hard. And my mom was like, Serena, you should like write this down. And so that was like that's the first memory I ever had.
Oh, that's so fucking wholesome. It's crazy. That's the most supportive shit I've ever heard in my life.
Well, and we're a family of performers. Like my dad did open mics for a little bit, and then he's also a musician. My sister's a musician, and my mom was like a preacher for a little bit. And so like we're all performers. We're just like, stage fright does not run in our family. And so yeah, it just like made sense, and I decided to try it. The first time I ever tried was in college, and then I like did a couple open mics and like didn't really take it seriously. And I was just sort of like, oh yeah, I do comedy, you know, and like whatever. And then a couple of years later I started up again, and I was like, oh, this is fueling me in a different way now.
Yeah, I see that. That's interesting. It's interesting to see people with supportive families toward comedy, because a lot of people you hear like, you know, their parents are like, oh, it's a weird thing that you do, but you do it. You know, my parents are a little bit like that. They're like, well, I guess if he likes it, but
sure.
It's interesting when they're like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think my folks are stoked that I have like an ambition at all, because for a while I was just like kind of a vagabond, and I was like traveling around like taking odd jobs and like just like loafing.
But honing in is something good.
Yeah, they're like, you know, like you're pointed in a direction now, and like even if that's a very high risk industry, it's at least like you are intending something, you know.
Yeah.
Which I understand for them.
And you got a good start. How long have you been here before Kill Tony happened?
So I moved here in January, and that was on March 31st. So
that was like a month,
like 2.5 months.
2 months. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was crazy. I feel like I was struck by lightning, like genuinely.
Yeah.
And yeah, the day after, because I couldn't sleep, and they made me sign an NDA, so like I couldn't talk about what had happened on stage.
Oh, okay.
Just for like the Netflix like proprietary
Oh
stuff.
my God, that must have been wild. People coming up to you like, tell me what happened.
Well, so it was crazy because like there were some people I knew like in the mothership, and then like some other open micers were like in the audience, because you know, some people are like audience.
Oh, but they don't
polls.
They don't sign the NDAs.
They don't sign the NDA, and so like people knew and were finding out, and so like they wouldn't let us leave the mothership that night. Like they kept all of the bucket pulls there and like brought us out into the alley and were like, "Do not tell anyone what happened on stage.
With
Do
a
not
gun in their
post
hand."
about it." It felt like it, and like they were like, "Don't post about it. We're like following all your social media. If you post about it, we will cut you from the episode. If you tell anyone, we will cut you from the episode. Like, do not talk about what happened on stage." And then and it was Tony who came out and said that, and then he looked at me and he goes, "Good job," and then he walked back in the mothership, and I was like, "Thank you." But so I like couldn't. I was like, okay, I'm not going to post about it. I'm not going to talk about it.
Right.
And then I was leaving, and like some of my friends had been like released from Shakespeare's, and I like ran into like Javier and stuff, and they were like, "Yo, what happened?" And I was like,
I can't.
It was good. It was a good experience. Like I can't talk about it. And then we went out to Creek, and somebody who had been in the audience showed up and like started being like, "Yo, this was great. Like Serena was invited to Madison Square Garden." And I was like, I have to leave. Like this is too crazy.
Well, I mean, it's all hearsay, you know?
Right. I was like, I literally can't talk about it. Like,
right. I would have freaked out too. I would have left too. I would have been like,
I was stunned. And then I like didn't sleep at all. I got up in the morning, and like I was staying at a place with a pool at the time, and so I took a swim, and then I like was so freaked out, and I called my mom because she gets up really early, and so it was like 5 a.m. and I called her, and I was like, "Mom, this crazy thing happened. Like I was on this Netflix episode. I'm going to Madison Square Garden," and she was like, it's 5 a.m. on April 1st. Like, are you kidding? And I was like, fuck. Fuck.
She's like, yeah, you're full of shit, dude.
I was like, no, for real though. Like,
oh, Serena thinks she's a comedian. Oh,
I was like, shit. Like, that's crazy timing.
That's so good. Oh my God.
So yeah.
Have they been in contact with you since? Do they give you on an email list or something?
The show.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, my parents. Yeah.
No,
of course.
yeah.
So I'm in contact with one of the producers. They were working really intensely. They all went to London and did a big arena show.
Oh yeah,
at the
that's
O2.
why they were gone. Yeah.
So now that they're back, they're starting to do Madison Square Garden stuff. So I am in contact with one of the producers, and I heard from her recently. But no one like. That's just for logistics for like getting there and stuff. Like it's not. It has nothing to do with my like material or anything like that. Because like my dad is stressed about that. He was like, I just have this like worry that you're gonna become like one of these like Joe Rogan heads. And I was like, they're not trying to tell me what to do. Like they're totally leaving me to my own devices. They're not telling me what I can and can't say about the show or about Tony. You know, like
that's interesting. You would say that. I understand what he means, but at the same time, I don't think that the show would do that. You know what I mean?
I think that he doesn't really know what Kill Tony is, and he doesn't understand the structure.
So he's sort of standing on the outside looking in.
And he had like the first he heard of it was when I called to tell him that I was on it.
Right.
So it's like this is entirely new for him.
He has no clue. Yeah.
So yeah, he's just like, what he knows about Tony Hinchcliffe is like
Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
That's so funny. When one day, it's so funny. I was at dinner with my parents, and my dad was like, "You guys hear about this fucking comedian who did this thing about Puerto Rico?" And I was just like dying laughing at the dinner table. I didn't even want to explain the whole situation. I was just like, "That's just hilarious."
Yes, I have heard about it.
Yes.
What about you? How did you get into it?
I've always been writing, and like I've had notes in my phone with writing and material that I've had for like 10 years, and it's just like pages and pages, and I just never did anything with it.
Yeah.
And I worked corporate jobs, and then I turned 30, and I was like, "Fuck, dude, I need to do something that's fun."
Yeah.
So I had this whole list, and I was like, "I'm gonna just try to make bits out of these. I'm gonna try to do stand up." I posted a bunch of them on like social media and Instagram.
Yeah.
And they did pretty well. For me, it's always been, now that I've been doing it like a year, it's interesting to kind of see my style versus other styles and to kind of get a concept of like how it all works and who's doing what. Because my style is much more long-winded.
Yeah.
It's like a very long story with a pretty solid punchline. But then when you go out into the scene, you see other people doing these amazing things, and you're like, that's so different, and I could never do that. Like, I was talking about Timmy No Breaks. I've like been worshiping him lately because I just keep watching the clips. Like, this is so not what I could do,
right?
But it's so fucking good at the same time.
Well, it's so cool that like stand-up as an art form accommodates all of that, right? Like, Casey Rocket is a stand-up comic, and Mitch Hedberg is a stand-up. You know, it's like those are such different energies, you know, like you get your like really expressive, you get your like totally deadpan, you know, like short jokes, cruel jokes, you know, like you get everything. And like, you know, like some people are like on the border of clowning and some people are on the border of improv. And so and it's just like everything can sort of like fit into this format a little bit.
It's fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like I remember a couple months in, this guy at like the Midnight Creek mic goes up and he has like a mask on and he puts a speaker down and then he does like, he pulls out this like a pooper scooper thing.
Okay.
And he plays Metallica.
Okay.
What's the song? From the Bell Tolls.
Okay.
And he's using the pooper scooper to mouth the words. And it's fucking killing. Like everyone's dying laughing. And I was looking at that like, this is exactly where I need to be. You know what I mean?
It's doing bits.
It's like that's gold. This is fucking gold.
One time, you end up hanging out with a lot of stand-up comics. And I, like one time was at Buzzmill with a friend of mine named Dedrick Flynn, who just got hired at Sunsets, shout out. And like we were sitting at the table and like the wind was blowing like the door open, you know, that like there's one of those doors that just doesn't have like a very good latch. And so it just started blowing open and like kind of kept slamming. And he just started doing this like in as though he were like,
oh, like forced. He's moving it?
Just while I was talking, just like, and I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, this is somehow the funniest thing I've ever fucking seen. Like,
that's the beauty of it. It's just some ridiculous shit. And it's like, why is this even comedy? Like, it's just so funny though.
And like, yeah, people who are good at like accessing that part of themselves on stage, right? Because like everyone can, most people can get to that at some level with their friends, like that kind of intimate like joking, but like what we're developing the skill of is like dropping into that with strangers. And like that's such a superpower. It's so cool.
It is.
Be like, no, we're just hanging out. We're just having fun.
It's funny you said superpower because that's exactly what I was thinking. And to see everyone's different stylings is like almost everyone's little power. It's like, yeah, that dude, he uses this power and this dude uses that power.
Little X-Men,
yeah, little X-Men, yeah. And it's so, but it's, and you have respect for other people's powers. And you're like, that's just so not me. Yeah. But God, that's a fucking cool one. You know, that is so cool that you're doing that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that's how I got started doing it. I've always, and I guess mine is just, I just like writing. Like for me, it's, I try to find a good story that's something that happened to me or something that I've seen. And then I like to make it a bit more of a longer winded story.
Sure.
And then have like a pretty good finish to it.
Sure.
But yeah.
Do you, the note that you have that you've been like keeping for like 10 years, do you go back and refer to it, or mostly are you writing stuff that's like more current?
I've burned through a lot of it.
Okay.
But most of, like when I'm going through and I'm trying to do a new bit, I'll scroll through it and I'm like, what's in here? And a lot of it is just things that I thought were interesting that happened to me. And then I tried. So like recently I did a video that did really well. And I had a note in my phone for years. And it was when I was 15. And it was my mom playing GTA.
Okay.
And the story was basically, my mom came to me one day and she goes, I really want to play Forza, like a racing game. Do you have any racing games? And I didn't. I had GTA.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just steal her Lamborghini and give it to her, and then she can drive around, and that'd be fun. Like she can have fun like that.
Cool.
And then she was doing it, but then she popped a curb, and she hit some people on the street, and they're rolling over the car, and the cops show up, and they're shooting her, and they're blowing up the car, and she's like, this is insanely violent. I cannot believe you're playing this game. And she's like, I think I'm going to confiscate this. You shouldn't have this.
No, Mom, I was trying to be cool.
I know. And then I said, Mom, you popped the curb.
Fucking got her, dude. Yeah, Mom, actions have consequences.
Yeah, you're the one who fucked up. Like, the fuck is that? But that was the joke. But like in the beginning, it just started with that story.
Yeah.
And then, I had to find like, where's the humor in this?
That's so funny.
But, yeah, that's the most recent one. But that's generally what the notes are on my phone. It's just things that I'm like, that was an interesting moment, or this was an interesting moment.
Nice.
Yeah, what about you?
I feel like a lot of the stuff I'm writing right now is, I'm not doing a lot of stories, and I'm not really drawing on like past notes a lot right now. I have some stuff that I'm trying to refine. I've decided that I have like about 20 minutes worth of stuff that I've been running when I can do feature sets. And I was like, okay, all of this stuff feels like 60% done. If I want to get all of it to like closer to 90%, so I was like, try not to write any more new big bits and just like focus on making this set good.
I feel like I'm there too.
Yeah. Because it's just like, it's overwhelming to, or I guess I was having such a creative surge, like my first little bit in Austin. I was like, wow, like I have so much to say. I want to talk about so much. And I was like, I am writing stuff and then getting like sick of it not working and like kind of half discarding it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's just left me with a lot of unfinished stuff. And so when I do get the opportunity to do something longer, I don't feel like I can really fill that out.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, like I want to remember that like this is, you know, more of a marathon. Like I have plenty of time to continue to write new stuff. Like I want to just like make sure that this stuff is good. So that's what I've been focusing on for the summer.
Yeah, I resonate with that a lot. Definitely feel like, especially when I first started going through the notes, I was like, I just had a burst of like, this is a bit, this is a bit, this is a bit, this is a bit. But now I feel like I'm in a space of, okay, how do I just do my performances correctly, accurately, well, and hone in and like sharpen the blade, you know? But there's some part of you that also has such an attraction to a new joke.
Yeah.
And you always are like, oh, where's the new one? Because doing a new joke for the first time, it's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun because you know that nobody's seen it and you're like, this is going to be good.
Well, and then you bring that energy to it, right? Like you stay in love with it for a little bit and you're like,
and there's like a lustful pull there to that new joke. Like, oh, this is going to be so exciting.
Yeah.
But like there are jokes I've had that I know are really good and I have to do them every now and then. And I'm like, I've done this a bit. And I bet that there's people here that have already seen it maybe. And it's just kind of like, but you know, but you got to do it. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting. It's always fun to see how people write.
Yeah.
I don't think, like I've been trying to just, you know, keep it just on day-to-day stuff, like what I see and then just tell the story. That's kind of my style.
Sure.
But yeah, that's cool. So you said Bozeman, Montana is where you were from, right?
I lived there for several years. Yeah. Yeah. I did not grow up there. But I lived there from 2018 to 2023.
I have a feeling I'm going to die in Montana.
Okay. Like you think you're fated to die there, or you think that if you went, you would die?
I think I'm fated.
Okay.
Not like I am scared to go. I think something about me says when I'm old and like going to retire, I'm going to have like a cabin in Montana and just be hanging out there. I don't know why.
Interesting. So is it like the seclusion that you crave?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why choose a performer's lifestyle if you crave solitude?
I don't know. I think stand-up is actually a very lonely thing to do, if you think about it.
That's true.
You're basically saying, everybody shut the fuck up and let me talk. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I met this one comic. This guy, I thought it was so interesting because whenever you hang out with this guy, he's around people, we're talking, we're going out to dinner. He's a very quiet dude. He doesn't say anything. And it's always like he's kind of battling for getting a word in any conversation. But when he gets up on stage, it's like, finally, like I have the free moment to talk.
Yeah. And
nobody can bother me. And so I feel like it is sort of a solitude kind of thing to do.
Yeah.
Because you're not talking. You're just, this is what I've been thinking. Here it is. Okay, bye. I'm going to leave now. That's, you know what I mean? But you are getting some kind of form of social interaction at the same time.
Yeah, it's just that it's so necessary to have other people around to be able to do it, right? Like,
yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people who do comedy are attracted to it because they like can't quite figure out how other people work, and they're like sort of testing out theories almost.
I like that. I like that theory. You're basically going, hey, is this crazy? Is this insane?
Am I crazy? Like, yeah, like I feel like a lot of people I know are like, I'm not sure why people find me funny. You know, like it's like, I'm not sure why this is funny because I'm just trying to like relate to other people, you know, and there's just like a little bit of a disconnect, and like we get so obsessed with figuring other people out.
Yeah.
And that's where the humor comes from.
Yeah. It is interesting. I think it's like just looking for truth is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I've always liked it. When I was a kid, I would watch Comedy Central.
Okay.
And that's how I started really getting into it. I remember watching like Louis C.K., the roast battles. Greg Giraldo was like a hero.
Okay.
and then he died. Rip. But I was always like, man, these guys are. This is so cool, and I'd never seen anything like this. And my parents were like tech heads in California, so they were very against it. They were like, "You're going to get a corporate job, and you're going to work tech." And I was like, "Okay,
that's not very California of them."
Yeah. Well, I mean, San Jose is like near that area, so it's very. I don't know. I think for that area, it was pretty normal.
Sure,
and they moved here for that reason because it was just cheaper and still techish.
Sure.
But yeah, I always kind of just had it in my back pocket. I was like, yeah, this would be cool. My sister's in performance too. She's in a band.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she sings bossa nova.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, my family's Brazilian also.
Okay.
So that's why she does bossa nova music.
Your name, Eric McLaughlin, does not give you away.
Yeah. My dad's Irish, American.
Sure is.
Yeah, he sure is, dude. But my mom is, she's Brazilian as hell. She is as Brazilian as they come.
Sweet.
She throws sandals and shit. Yeah, she's in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What's your sister's name?
Sonia.
Sonia. Okay.
Sonia McLaughlin.
All right.
Yeah.
Bossa Nova singer.
Bossa Nova. If you ever hear any bossa nova music in Austin, that's probably my sister.
Probably her. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Never have guessed. Have you been to Brazil?
I go every year. Yep.
Do you speak Portuguese?
I do. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. People always look at me and they're like, "What the fuck?" And it's like, yeah. I try to do a bit out of it. I can't think of anything that's funny about it, other than the fact I did one for a bit, but I don't really like it. And it was like, yeah, I'm Latino, and just the shock of saying that is like, what? And then I start speaking in Portuguese, and people are like, "What?" Like it's still just a shock.
Just stunning. Yeah.
And then I have no Latino qualities other than I like Fast and Furious movies. I don't know. Like
nice.
that's kind of but it's not that great. And it's like, all right, it doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah. Plenty of white dudes like Fast and Furious.
You think so?
I think so.
Oh, well.
Paul Walker's in there. That's our boy.
Yeah, that is our boy. He did say "cuh" with the confidence of a black man, though. That elevated him to some other echelon. Damn. When he walked off that set of that "cuh," everyone was like, that's acting.
Shit.
That's a performance.
That guy does not know what he looks like.
Yeah. I watched it the other day, and as soon as he says it, I just start laughing. It's like, that's crazy. Nobody on set was like, is this cool that he's doing this?
Can we air this?
Yeah. I don't think this is cool. Yeah.
Died before he could be canceled for it. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, he was leagues ahead of it, I think, because that was like the first or second Fast and Furious movie. He was on like 8 by the time he got wrapped around that pole.
Yeah.
That's a bad way of putting it. Yeah. That was sad, though, to see him go.
Yeah.
It's crazy that they just CGI'd him into a next movie. I was like, that's fucked.
Well, they used his brother, I think, to as his body double.
I guess. Maybe that's okay. I wonder if they have a contract with these guys where they're like, hey, if you die, are you cool if we just use your likeness?
Well, they had to explain his absence somehow. He's very integral to the family.
Yeah.
That we all follow.
I guess they had to do something.
Yeah. He can't just be gone one day. And
Yeah.
I feel like a throwaway line would be a disservice to him. I'm just
oh, yeah, you're right. Just he's just not here because he has diarrhea.
Right. That's the man's legacy.
Yeah. They need to do something.
They had that whole goodbye scene too, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
Yeah. That became a meme.
Drives off
And
to
I'll
heaven.
tell you all about it. That was ridiculous. Dude.
Drifts on into heaven, that guy.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild. You said something about looking for truth.
Yeah.
Using comedy to look for truth. Is that what you feel like you're doing?
There's a couple jokes I do where I think it's not that I'm looking for truth. It's just I noticed a truth that's why would you even say that, though? You know what I mean? I have the one bit that I really like lately where I say, I don't like seeing Asians at the Renaissance Fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And,
yeah.
and it's funny because it's that is kind of accurate. Why would they be in that time period? So people are usually yeah, that's true, but also is that racist? It's a funny moment.
Yeah.
But I don't think I feel like I have two types of jokes. I have jokes like that one where it's just like a one-liner, and then I have my long-winded ones.
Yeah.
The one-liner ones are the ones that I think are more fun because it's just so true and ridiculous and quick that it's hilarious, and it just gets an instant laugh.
Yeah.
And they're usually true. So that's where the truth comes in. Do you resonate?
I was curious what you meant by, if you were like thinking in like a sort of cosmic sense, like you're like describing the human condition, or like,
in like the most playful, not deep way.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
But I think that's the beauty of the human condition, is because I don't think it's deep at all. Like my whole philosophy of people is that we're just bugs and we're all gonna die, and that's just the way it is.
Okay.
And that makes me feel comfortable.
Yeah. Sure.
And so to say jokes in a way that reflects that, in a way that feels true and humorous and kind of funny, I think those are my favorite.
Yeah.
Because I'm just not that deep about life.
Well, there's something very free about like believing that it doesn't matter, right? It's like
very free.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I can just do whatever I want, Like there aren't really, or like if I recognize that the rules are arbitrary and like we impose them on ourselves, then like
yeah,
I can follow them or not.
And I think it's a much scarier life to be like you have a destiny and a path and like there's a purpose and everything. That seems intimidating to me.
Sure.
Because it's like, well, I don't know. That seems like it means a whole lot. That seems like a lot of pressure.
Well, it opens you up to the possibility of failure, right?
Yes.
Failure in the eyes of God or whatever.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, if I fail, then it's like I failed my destiny. That sounds fucked, I'd like to just believe that tomorrow I could get hit by a bus, and it's like, yeah, that's just how things shake out.
Sure.
You're just rolling the dice every day, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That seems more freeing to me.
Yeah.
But I talk to some people who are religious, and they're like, no, I don't like that at all.
See, because I think like if you have a destiny, it is impossible to fail it, because like,
well, define a destiny. Like you'll see some people who are like, oh, my destiny is to be a comic, and it's like, yeah, but you're failing at it.
Sure.
So then you're delusional.
Sure.
Almost.
Well, I think probably we don't know our destiny except for in retrospect, right? Like after, potentially at the end of our lives, we might understand that like we played some kind of crucial role. But like, I don't think we get to decide. And I don't think that, someone who's like, my destiny is to be a comic. It's like, okay, how do you know? Like, and like, maybe not. Maybe your destiny is to try really hard and to not get there. Like,
there's a lot of people whose destiny is exactly that.
Not just a lot of people, most of us.
Yeah.
Most of the people that
Right.
Potentially including yourself. And like, that's a risk that you have to take. That's like reaching for something as outlandish and unconventional and pirate-like as like becoming a stand-up comic. It's like you run a really high risk of failure and public failure. Like you announced to all of your friends and everyone you knew forever that like this is what you're pursuing. Like, you might not get there,
and you might not get there,
and you probably won't get there.
Like, the one beautiful thing I've seen in comedy too that I think is interesting is a lot of people start stand-up, and then over years that stand-up opens a door to something else.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Whether it's, podcasting, or they met somebody, or they have a kid, or whatever it is. And it's like, I would not have gotten there if it wasn't for stand-up.
Totally.
So then it's like, okay, stand-up was your destiny.
Right.
It just wasn't what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it didn't lead you to the thing.
You thought you were going to be Shane Gillis, but no. You just got a family and you're okay with that now.
Yeah, and it's like, and that's the most meaningful thing that you've ever done.
Yeah.
And like you are like thrilled and proud of it,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I can respect the destiny argument. But I mean, at the same time, it's like what you were saying, there's no way you could ever understand your own destiny. Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, why even worry about it?
Sure.
just fucking go out there and do whatever.
Sure.
And just have fun.
I guess like from my perspective, and I'm only recently sort of coming around to this. I used to be sort of like, no, we're all bugs and like, you know, nothing matters and that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very freeing. And like, I'm very sympathetic to that orientation to the world. But like recently I've come around more to like, if there is an opportunity, I want to be the person who can take it, right? Like I want to be the best possible version of myself, the strongest, the most prepared to be like, to achieve my like own pinnacle. So that if there is something like I can shine in that moment.
Are you religious?
Sort of. It's like I'm kind of coming back around to religion.
So you weren't?
Correct.
But you were before too.
Well, I was raised in the church, but like in a pretty chill way. Like
I was raised in the church, but like in a fucking chill ass.
Pretty chill, dude.
Like a fucking chill ass church, dude.
Honestly, it was pretty relaxed.
Dude, we were fucking chilling.
Honestly, like preacher in a chain. You know what I mean?
You know Avery Hutto?
I do. Yeah.
He said the same thing. It was so funny.
That's
dude.
wild because he's Catholic, and those are not chill. Folks.
No, they're not. And he seemed to be a bit more into his religion, but he said the same thing. He was like, I just believe in Jesus in like a chill way. Like he was a cool guy. And I was like, sick.
Yeah, God.
That's modern religion. Like God is fucking tight.
He's tight, dude. He just like, he's got you. He wants you to do what you can. You know? Like be kind to yourself and others. I think there's probably more to it than that. I'm like coming back around to religion, and like, I don't know what that means yet. I don't like go to church because that's for squares, but like,
yeah, you fucking nerds.
Lame. No, I don't know. I just like, I think that it's possible that like there will be a moment that I'm like called to excellence, and like I want to be
the very best.
I want to be able to answer that call, you know, and like that means that I want to be like strong and kind and like the best version of myself, the most developed of all of my like natural qualities,
right?
So that I can like achieve that excellence.
So you can excel when it comes.
Have that like singular moment, you know.
And I would agree that is something I feel as well. Like I want to do good in my day-to-day life, but I think to counter your point, like objectively all the way out looking in, I'm still a bug. And I think all of us want to be the best.
Sure.
You know, everyone wants to be a good person. Mm-hmm. And some people are broken and they don't want to be, but I think all of us, generally speaking, are like, yeah, I want to do the best that I can every day. But, you know, you put your best foot forward. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like that's, I grew up Catholic also.
Okay.
Because my parents Irish and Brazilian. I mean, that's a lot of Catholic going on.
Potent combo, yeah.
Yeah, and
that's the two ends of the extreme too. That's wild.
That's that Latin Catholic.
We're
and
throwing
then
bombs either way, baby.
But I don't know. I never really leaned into it. But I have had problems with that in the past. I did become a bit of a Jordan Peterson person because it was like, for a while I was like, I can't just not believe in anything. Because if you don't believe in anything, then it's like, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Why do anything if nothing fucking matters?
Right.
You fall into that hole.
And like, even if you're like, oh, I want to do something because my like conscience is like, even if nothing matters, like it bothers me that there are problems in the world. Like, it's like, where is that coming from? You know, like,
what do you mean by that?
Like, because some people are like, oh, nothing matters, but I still want to be kind because it feels good to. It's like it feels better to be kind than not, right? And it's like, well, why? Like, where does the idea that it feels better to be kind come from inside of us?
Well, I would argue genetics and just evolution.
Sure.
It's good to be nice to someone because it feels good, and that's been good historically.
Sure.
But also, if you rationalize the way I just did, that can get pretty dark pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And because, that's what, this is what like Stalin and Hitler and all these guys, that's exactly what their rationale was we could just kill 6 million people and the world would be great. Mm-hmm. That's what they were thinking.
Right.
But that doesn't work in practice.
Right.
In theory, you can put it on paper and it's like, oh yeah, that checks out, but that doesn't work with human beings in practice. And the argument I just made right now is the same thing. Like, oh, it's just, it's all chemicals, it could be changed.
Right.
But in practice, it's like, yeah, but, just be a fucking good person.
Just be chill.
Yeah.
Be chill like Jesus.
So how do you pray now? Do you pray?
A little bit.
You worship?
I hear worship.
That sounded sarcastic. I didn't mean for it to be sarcastic.
Castigated.
I do like I appreciate religious people.
Sure. I don't know. This is something I'm only recently like willing to even talk about. Like my experience of my own spiritual life is very internal, very private.
Right.
But I like to just like take a moment before I like eat and experience gratitude that like I have the resources to eat, and like
I have thought that as well.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just little moments, or like if I notice that I'm really anxious or have been like angry for no reason, for like I'm just like frustrated about being in traffic or whatever. Just like taking that second and being like I'm grateful that I get to be here at all. Like this is like nothing is wrong. Like I am pursuing a life that I want, and that's really like that's joyous. That's awesome.
Again, very wholesome. I didn't expect you to be this wholesome.
Thank you.
So far, you've dropped a couple of wholesome bombs on me, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so wholesome.
What did you think I was going to be like sarcastic and mean?
No, I thought you'd be a bit more sarcastic.
Okay.
But like in a fun way, not like in a, mean, Yeah. I thought, because I've seen you perform, and you seem a bit more, like you have like some cheeky comments and some funny things. Yeah. But now you're coming off very like, wholesome. I think good of the future, and I have a good belief system, and I came from a good family. And I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, that's good.
Yeah. I like being rough on stage. I think that's really fun. And I don't know. I mean, like my family has its issues, like it's
as is anyone's.
Yeah. My parents were encouraging in this specific realm, but like, like there's plenty of stuff,
where they were like, what the fuck? Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think this is also just like a really good part of my life. Like I'm like really, I feel full of life right now, and
wholesome,
like
again.
That is like infecting everything, I'm just like, wow, like things are good,
No, that's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think that like honestly there was like a trend for a long time. It was like really big for comics and comedy. It was very like everything is stupid and sucks, and like I want to die, and like I felt like I saw so many open micers especially being like, we all want to kill ourselves, right? And it's like,
yeah,
we were like training an audience to laugh at that, and it's like, I don't feel that way. Like,
yeah,
life is really fun.
I completely agree. When I first started doing it, I would go to open mics and everyone would say shit like that, and I'm like, I just can't relate to that.
Yeah,
I'm a very happy person.
And I feel like it's kind of going out of vogue, which is great.
Yeah,
but like, yeah, there was just this like really like down in the mouth thing for a while, and it's like, if that's genuine, great, like be genuine, but
sometimes people just say it to say it.
And it's like, and also like sometimes people say it enough that they start to like talk themselves into that, like it's like it's trendy to be depressed, therefore like suddenly everyone I know is like focusing on their like worst moments.
They're manifesting it.
Yeah. And like it does feel like that was happening for a little while.
Yeah. People say that about therapy. I saw this really good thing about therapy. It was a guy saying the reason why therapy is really taking off is because imagine taking an hour out of your day every day to talk about the worst thing that ever happened to you. It's like you're making too much of a thing out of it. Just,
with someone you pay to be interested in it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have to hold their interest.
It's like you need to just move on. When I saw that, I was like, that's great advice. Yeah. That's amazing advice.
Yeah. I think it's like certainly the impact that therapy is an industry, and we need to remember that. Like,
yes.
It's like,
I was going to say that too.
Yeah. And I think that it, like,
they want
there
you
are
to come
certain
back.
people who it helps, you know, but it's like, I think most often if you have like a concrete issue, it's like, that's when you should be pursuing therapy. It's like, I want to work on this thing, and here's how I will know when I am done, you know? And I think that that's sort of missing from a lot of people's therapy programs.
Yeah. I did therapy as a kid. I remember I scared my parents because I was drawing some stuff, and they were like, we got to take this kid to therapy. He's getting all sad. What really fucked me up was, honestly, I watched this sounds so dumb. I watched a History Channel episode where this scientist was talking about the 1,000,000 ways to destroy the planet and like his favorite top 10. And it made me cry, and I was really depressed. And my parents were like, you got to go to see a therapist.
Wow.
And after 3 sessions, the therapist, still respect the shit out of him. He was like, I think this kid's fine. He's just a kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's a good way to do that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Because sometimes, you know, if you get a weird therapist who's like, yeah, just keep on calming down, that's $100 every week for that guy.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Well, and it's like a low effort patient, right? Like, it's like, you're not like someone who's actually like taxing for them, right? You know?
You're just like a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to go to therapy again in my adult life.
Yeah.
Just to kind of be like, am I fucked up? You know, like, what's wrong with me? Am I normal?
Yeah.
And to get a second opinion. But that almost sounds like stand-up at that point, where it's like, hey, is this fucking crazy what I'm saying?
That's the other thing I always hate, when people are like, oh, I'm just doing therapy up here. I'm just like, fuck that. It's like,
do you know where you can do therapy?
Not wasting my time. Like, yeah. Yeah, if no one ever says the word trauma to me again, I will be so happy.
Yeah, trauma seems to be a big... Man, there's a couple comics I can think of where they go up there and I'm like, is that funny, or was that just what you were thinking about all day today that was super sad?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And I think that like all of that stuff can be fuel for great jokes. It's just like, you have to make jokes. Like,
you have to make jokes.
Just saying it is not good enough.
You gotta make jokes. And I get it that maybe you're trying to work it out, but also like, holy shit, sometimes it's really dark. Yeah. It's like, damn. But I don't know.
What, when you obviously don't have to tell me, but like, when you say you want to go to therapy in your adult life, do you have like a specific tendency that you've noticed that you want to work on, or like?
Oh, this is fun. Self-analysis. I think if I was going to go to therapy, I would want to know why. Some people call me selfish. I would be like, what is that? Is it actually me? Or is it my family just being a family? Am I selfish in other ways? I'd kind of want to just psychoanalyze myself. Like the other day, you know what I've been using is ChatGPT.
That's kind of ironic, actually. Like,
why? How so?
To go into, like, to go get analyzed and like pay someone to focus on you really hard to see if you're selfish. That's like,
oh, that's so funny. Am I a narcissist? Let's talk about me for an hour.
I just want to check in.
Oh, that is so good.
Yeah, bro.
That's funny as shit. Yeah. But I've never done it, so maybe that's a good sign.
That's good.
Yeah. Because if I actually do it and take some guy's time, it's like, fuck, maybe I was a narcissist.
I think everyone is fundamentally selfish. I think it's like trying not to be selfish is a kind of a waste of your
I agree.
time.
I think people that aren't annoy me.
Yeah.
That annoys me a lot.
Well, I don't think that there are people that aren't. I think that those people get off on the idea of themselves as selfless, right?
Yes,
like
yes.
it's still self-serving.
Yes.
And it's like, it's okay. Like
Yes.
we all think about ourselves all the time. Like, of course, you are the center of all the experiences you've ever had.
You ever meet somebody that does like 10Ks for fucking cancer or something?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, but you kind of just tell everybody that you do this.
Right.
Don't you?
Yeah. You need the recognition.
Yeah.
And like, it says something about you that you do it.
Yes.
And that's what you like. And it's like, it's okay. Like, great. You know, like I was telling somebody
There's
the other
worse
day,
ways to be crazy.
Totally.
Yes.
And like, there are, like, you're genuinely helping people. Like, that's awesome. You
Great.
know?
Yeah.
There are certainly worse ways to be
But
crazy.
also-
That's like great. But also, like, but don't act like that's all you get out of it.
Yeah.
And like, the joy is not helping others. The joy is other people knowing that you help others. And like, that's okay. Like, I was talking to one of my friends about how
I still think it's a little psychotic. There's a tiny bit of like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
I was talking to one of my friends about how like I love to read and I read literature.
Nice.
And one of my friends wanted me to read like a book by Emily Henry, who's like one of these like modern, like she writes like romances that you can like buy in the airport. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to enjoy this, but I'll read it. And I read it and I was like, this was okay, but I'm not going to read any more books by this woman. And like, the book itself was fine, but I was like, part of what I like about reading literature is that like I feel good about what I like, the content of what I'm reading. I feel like I'm reading something that like other people know is good, and like I will pull like
to relate to somebody in the future.
well, it's like I'll pull like Crime and Punishment out of my bag and be reading that, and people will notice and be like other readers will be like, oh.
Like, so it's
like,
a social activity
and
almost.
it's like it's part of it is the recognition.
Yes.
And like it says something about me that I'm reading something serious. And it's like I fully acknowledge that that's part of my experience of that book. Like I like feeling like I'm reading something that like is good. And like I'm not embarrassed about that. You know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's part of it. It's okay.
Great book.
And it's the same thing with that sort of selfish thing. It's like
It is. You read a book at a bar because you want people to know that you read books at bars.
Like, and yeah, like, and I'm not ashamed of that. Like, I like coming across that way. It's important to me. It says something about me. It does something for me. And like, oh, cool.
But it's also a little weird. But I mean, but it's fine because again, there's worse ways to be weird.
Worse ways to be weird.
But like, same with the 5K guy. It's like, yeah, it's cool that you do that, but it's a little strange that you feel the need to want people to see that you're doing something great. That is a weirdness that people have. But I mean, again, this one girl I was talking to, she said something interesting. She was saying it's all about the male ego. It was really focused on men. And I was like, I don't really know if it's men only. I think it's men and women. But she said, if you're going to hone your ego into something like that, that's good. If you have an ego, hone it into something for the good.
Totally.
And I was like, that's a great way of putting it, you know? Because she said the worst thing you can do is just lose your ego, which is a lot of what people are doing now.
Totally.
Where it's like, just lose your ego. But it's like, if you lose your ego, who are you? Yeah. You're nothing now. Yeah. And that's not a great place to be. It's better to take your ego and just channel it into something good. Yeah. And I think that's pretty cool, actually. I like that.
It's like ego is like a sense of self. It's like it's a drive. It's like that's what makes us ambitious and makes us want to do things and makes us want to participate in our society.
Yeah.
It's like the idea that other people will see us and recognize us as one of the, you know, like as one of the group, one of the like collective. And like we want other people's recognition. That's crucial to us. And like that's good. That's like an evolutionary defense against solitude and like keeps us together. Like that we want to be liked is a good quality for us to have. It keeps us safe.
And I think with comedians, there is an ego to that too, because you're basically telling the same joke over and over and over and over, but you're trying to find new people that never heard it and be like, hey, I thought of this. Isn't that funny? Hey, I thought of that. Isn't that funny? Aren't that funny? You're just looking for that moment.
Do you like me? Do you think I'm cool?
Is
Do you
that
think
cool?
I'm crazy?
Please applaud. But it is weird that we like it, but you know, again, it feels good. There could be worse things. So, but
do people tell you that you're brave for doing stand up?
Yeah, I've gotten that.
How do you feel about that? How do you respond to that?
I don't feel brave I feel, here's a way of putting it. I don't feel brave. I feel like, man, if I didn't do this, what the fuck would I be doing? Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, you don't understand. I have no choice. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm a prisoner here. You can go, oh, I'm scared, I don't want to do that, and then move on with your day nothing fucking happened. Yeah. Me, it's like, if I don't go up, I'm going to be shit-talking myself the rest of the day, like, you're a pussy, you should have done it, like, why didn't you do that? Just do it. But other people go, oh, no, and they just move on. Yeah. But that's where the difference, I don't call that bravery. Yeah. I call that, like, this is just something I have to fucking do.
Yeah. I think that's interesting, because, like, I'll talk to other comics about this sometimes, about how, like, it doesn't feel brave, it feels like necessary.
It feels necessary.
And it's like,
it's like when they interview the firefighters in 9/11, they're like, we're just doing our job.
Yeah. It's just like, that's what what do you mean? That's what I do. Yeah. You know? And like, yeah. And other people, those people who are like sitting in the audience are brave in other ways that I can't imagine, you know, like, or like they are, like, I've been thinking of like the vulnerability of staying in one place your whole life and like living your whole life among the same group of people, and like accepting that they will see all of your mistakes and all of your growth. And like, that is vulnerable in a way that I could never bring myself to be.
That is a very interesting take.
and like people are, like there's this sort of common perception that like, oh no, it's like, it's cowardly to stay in your hometown. It's like, no. Like, that is real
There's a level of balls to that.
And like,
yeah,
I am so afraid of that.
That's interesting. This is a good take. You're basically saying, I didn't move out of my hometown because I'm brave. I did it because I'm fucking terrified.
I'm a coward. Yeah. And like,
that's great.
Because I'm trying to start over in like a clean slate, so that like no one will have to remember what I was like at 15, and I can like take out a picture and show them every so often, and be like, look what I came from. You know,
but with the internet of things, that's pretty tough these days. People always remember.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. They weren't like there for all the moments though. You know, like it's.
It also probably just feels good to be around a bunch of new people.
Yeah. It's like I get this new chance to just like be cool from jump.
From the rip. Yeah. And if it's not going your way, you're just like, let's go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I've lived my life like that for so long. But yeah, like it's other people just like can't imagine going to a new place without, you know, like moving to a new place with like alone. They're like, what do you mean you do that? And I'm like, I can't imagine staying in one place, you know? Like we just like the ways that we're willing to be brave and vulnerable are so different based on our different like just internal qualities, you know? And like, that's so cool. Like we need everyone, you know, like
it's another superpower analogy. Yeah. Everyone's got their own power. Yeah. I was talking to this guy the other day. I was like, what have you been up to? I haven't seen you in a bit. I used to work with him. He's like, oh, I started a cement business, and then I'm doing a couple things with like my real estate projects over here, and then I have this little small business I'm doing. And I'm sitting there listening to this, like, this guy just doesn't fucking stop working. Mm-hmm. And in a way, that is brave. Yeah. Because, or at least in the sense that we've been talking about. Because to me, I'm like, I don't want to work that fucking hard. But this guy, there's something in him that's like, no, I fucking have to do this. Like, I want to work this hard. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, good on him. You know, that's, again, there's better ways. There's worse ways to live your life. And that's a great one.
Yeah. Well, and being able to like funnel it into something that's like constructive, right? Like, is like, that's the best you can hope for.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Then you're like Ted Bundy or someone who's funneling it into some way that's
destructive,
really destructive.
Yeah.
But you ever seen Mindhunter?
No.
Oh, it's a TV show on Netflix where they interview the serial killers.
Okay.
And they talk to them and they get a little bit more perspective on them. And it's crazy how you start to go, oh, I kind of get why you did it now. You know what I mean? Because you hear these guys like, my mom treated me like shit my entire life. I was beat by my dad. They never let me outside.
Right.
I could never do anything. So anytime I had a chance to feel powerful, I would just do it because it made me feel so powerful in that moment because the rest of my life was powerless. And when you hear that, you're like, fuck, I kind of get it.
Yeah. It's like the power of like crushing a bug.
Exactly.
And you're like,
it's like, yes.
I'm taking a genetic line that's older than my own and like crushing that life.
Yeah. And there is a weird power to that. Mm-hmm. But most people, they see that power and they show mercy. But to him, it's like, nope, I want to kill it. It's weird. It's weird. Serial killers are always fascinating just because it's a strange how to see human excellence take a dark side. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like that guy was the best serial killer. Yeah. Like there is the best serial killer and that's him.
Yeah.
That's crazy that he did that. And we hate it, but we also are like, but he was the best one,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
There is a weird level of respect to like he did the most. That was weird.
There is something like glorious about like it's
glorious.
Like it's achieving like a pinnacle, right? And it's like that's what we have to accept if we're also going to hope for like people achieving the best in like areas we think are good, right? Mm-hmm. Like we also have to accept that like there will be excellent badness.
There will be excellent badness. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That sucks.
It sucks. But it's also important to study it. Another one was the high school shootings. You hear these kids and they're like, nobody liked me in school. Everyone treated me like shit. My parents treated me like shit. And the way I picture it is like, imagine playing a game with your friends. Everyone's picking on you. Everyone's being annoying. And you just flip the board.
Yeah. And
you're like, fuck this. I'm out. Right. That's literally what he did. He's just like, this sucks. I don't care if I die. Fuck everybody. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. That's a human reaction. But it's just a super dark one.
Yeah. Well, and like to be like called like a, like pussy every day of high school. It's like, oh, you want to see how brave I can, how I can just like mow you down. Like, you want to see what real cowardice looks like.
That feels powerful. Like who's a pussy now?
Yeah.
Like that. There is a power in that. Yeah. There is. And when I at first I was always like, I don't understand how someone could do this. And my dad was like, they're just crazy. They're crazy. And I'm like, oh, I guess people are just crazy. But when you really dig, you go, that's just a human reaction. Just a really dark one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would suck to just every day get called pussy. Nobody likes you. Nobody wants to talk to you.
Yeah.
That's rough. How was school for you?
It was okay. I wasn't popular, but I had a group of friends and it wasn't like a bad experience. I don't know. It was fine.
You liked high school? Everything was just fine?
It was, I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't want to go, but I had more struggle with the school part of it. I just
weren't a good student?
I wasn't a good student. I was like really sick of school. It felt really like false. It felt like this like holding pen before adulthood. And I was like, I'm ready to just move it on. Like, so yeah, I didn't like the constraint of school.
It's weird that some kids do.
Yeah, I mean, like,
you know what I mean?
I think some kids are just able to see that as like a path forward for them. Like
like a competition. People were like, if I just get the good grades.
Yeah.
They were so excited about the grades. And I was like, I just don't care.
Well, they understand that it's like, maybe it's just like checking boxes, but like the person with the most boxes checked gets to like move on to the next round. And like, that means that I will rise to the top if I learn how to just like, play this game, and like their ambition manifests in a different way.
Right.
But yeah, I was just like, thought I was too good for it. And like, so I like struggled academically. Like, okay, there is actually a chance that
not because you're dumb, because you just didn't care. Yeah.
But socially it was fine. I had a group of friends, and like I wasn't one of the cool kids, but like, whatever. Like I wasn't like bullied or anything. Like it was fine.
Yeah, I'd get bullied some. I was really skinny.
Oh yeah.
They'd call me Auschwitz. Yeah.
Wow.
That was a nickname I had for a while. I was like, kind of a crazy nickname for middle schoolers, but
that's, yeah.
Because I weighed like maybe 100 pounds or something when I was in high school. It was pretty fucking thin.
Wow. Auschwitz.
Yeah.
Where did you go to school?
Here.
Okay.
Bowie High School.
Okay.
And then I went to Texas State after. So I'm like
is
a
that
local.
in College Station?
That's San Marcos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. But I like school. School is cool.
Yeah.
It's just actually I take that back. I didn't like school. I felt the same way. I just felt kind of like I just have to be here because you guys are, because the world, society says it's bad of me to just wander the streets.
Yeah.
So it's like I just have to be in this room right now. And the teachers were all like coaches and they don't care about it either.
Yeah.
They're like, here's a packet, look at that and do it for an hour.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I don't want to do this. So, but when I got to college, I really started to care.
Yeah.
Actually, because in college it seemed more along the lines of this is really interesting stuff and you signed up for this. And if you want to be a part of it, then be a part of it. And that felt more real to me than being in like a classroom in high school or something.
Yeah.
So college kind of, I was really into it. Yeah.
What did you study?
I studied Russian Euro studies for a bit, so like Russian language and literature, and then I changed to political science halfway through.
Cool.
So, yeah, you said, what'd you say, War and Peace? You didn't say War and Peace.
Crime and Punishment.
Crime and Punishment, yeah. And I was like, all right, there you go.
Yeah.
There it is.
Tolstoy or Dostoevsky? If you had to pick.
Probably Dostoevsky.
Okay. That makes sense if you're an atheist.
Yeah. And I just think that I usually watch the movies. I try not to read. But
these books, they're just flying at me. I try not to read them.
Dude, I feel so embarrassed how much I shit on reading, but I fucking hate reading. I think it's so boring. And I think it's like, if I can get this message in a video format, I will.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Respect.
Okay. Just don't hurt me.
Bro. I just think it's funny. Russian literature and political science are probably some of the most reading dense disciplines you could have chosen.
True. I was thinking
chemistry, bro.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Blow shit up, dude.
But here's the thing. I like conversation.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that's where I think I was looking for.
Sure.
I wanted to learn Russian because of conversation. I thought Russians were like just so fascinating.
Yeah.
And then I like political science because I like discussion over things that are important.
Sure.
Now, what I learned is I fucking hate politics.
Okay.
Because politics is actually not a discussion about anything that's important. Right. It's actually a discussion about how to make something seem important that really isn't or is actually just bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not at all what I thought. So, yeah, I didn't do anything with that.
Do you participate in politics in any way?
No.
Do you vote?
No.
Interesting.
Do you?
I didn't for a long time. I voted in this most recent election. But I mostly voted because I was still on the ballot in Montana, or like I still was registered in Montana, and we had a ballot initiative to write abortion protections into the state constitution. And I like signed up to vote so that I could vote for that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it's in alignment with my principles that, like, I think that kind of right should be protected.
Yeah.
And so if it can be like put into the state constitution, I'm into that.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
And it passed. So like it's illegal for the government to interfere with someone seeking an abortion in Montana.
Yeah, I think it's good to have something you care about and then vote for it. The thing is, and this is probably a character flaw of myself, I don't have anything that I care about, which sounds terrible. But when
it's coherent with like we're all bugs. Nothing. I mean, like, and I don't mean to be dismissive of the idea.
No, yeah,
like,
please be dismissive
matters.
too.
But like, it would be weird if you were like nothing matters except for a lot of political stuff. You know, like that would be odd.
That would be weird.
Those things, wouldn't cohere.
At least I'm consistent.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you've thought it through at least. Right?
Yeah.
It's respectable.
To me, it's just, I wish I cared a lot about these things. But again, once I saw the sausage being made, it's like, but at the end of the day, they use some of these points as a means to get other bullshit passed.
Totally.
Like everything is just used and sold as this or that. to get something else going. And I think it's just gross. And it's like, I just don't even want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of shit for telling people I don't vote. People are always like, you should vote. Like, you need to vote. You need to exercise your right to vote. And to that argument, I always say, no, you don't, because you can also exercise your right not to vote.
Right.
In Brazil, you have to vote. I have to vote every year in Brazil, which sucks. I don't want to.
How do you navigate that? Do you vote on your like as close to your principles as you can, or like what?
I'm liberal leaning, so I just vote for the liberal candidate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't do like a lot of research?
No, not even a little. I just vote for the liberal candidate, and because I don't live there, I don't get any of the value. So it's just like, why the fuck would I even?
Do you have to do that to like maintain your passport or something?
Yeah, and citizenship. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can get out of it sometimes because I'm living here, and they're like, there's no reason. But yeah, sometimes you gotta vote. Yeah, I almost got drafted too. That would have been crazy.
For what?
For the Brazilian military.
Well, right, but like, were they going to war?
So they have a necessary draft for all people under the age of 20, like when you reach 18. And they don't, it's sort of, they call it exertion.
Okay.
And it's not because they're at war. It's just, they want most of the country to have served the country. It's like indoctrination.
Sure. Okay.
You know, they do that in Korea, I think.
Yeah.
It's a way of just building patriotism and like, giving back.
Sure.
And a lot of people.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's actually, I think it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But a lot of people get out of it. There's easy ways to get out of it. I obviously got out of it, but then they just throw you in the Colombian jungle, and they're just like, go out there and find drug lords.
Damn.
Yeah, so that'd be kind of scary. But just getting wrecked by mosquitoes all day.
Well, and if you run away, there's just like all that Amazon between you, and it's like the fucking Pantanal, right?
You
like,
do not run away. My cousin was in the Amazon recently, and he had some footage of like what it's like in the dance Amazon. He was there for like a fishing trip or something, and they got escorted deep inside by some locals.
Yeah.
You can't even walk.
Yeah.
It's just filled with trees, shrub. Like there's no walking.
Yeah.
And they had this guy like hacking away at a machete to even create some kind of path.
Right.
But otherwise, you're just hanging out by the riverbank.
Yeah.
Like that's the only place that you can hang out.
So dense. Yeah.
Yeah, and
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And there's crazy bugs. They're like, don't pee in the water because it's going to swim with your dick, and then it's going to get you sick. You can't drink the water. Don't put your hand in the water because of piranhas. Like, there's a bunch of things that are just waiting to kill you out there. And then in Texas, it's just, I don't know, nothing.
That's not quite true.
Well, that's true. We got scorpions and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's black bears here in Chisos Mountains.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Black bears?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, they're not here, but they're in West Texas. They range all the way down to Mexico.
Oh, I've heard of them in New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that they can get that low. You ever seen a bear?
Yes.
Up close?
Not very close. Well, in like captivity, but I've seen bears in the wild. Scary. I don't care for it.
Yeah.
But I've never had like a bad encounter. But I lived in Montana for 10 years and went out in the woods during that time. Like I've seen bears. But yeah, I've never had to like pull my bear spray on a bear or anything.
Yeah. You have bear spray just ready to go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always hike with it.
Is it? Oh, you hike? I was like, is it on you?
I have it with me.
I was like, yeah, we got.
I'm not packing right now.
That'd be funny if
what
your
if
bear
I
spray.
Bear spray in your house? That'd be crazy.
It'd be funny if you brought that downtown. You're like, in case I get raped or bears, I have one thing for both.
Well,
you know.
So it's just pepper spray, but like really, really concentrated. It's like high dose. Like crazy pepper spray, and like you're intended to like try to get it into the soft tissue of the bear. So like if the bear is charging you, its head is down, and so you want to like aim at the ground and like let it kind of like spray up into the bear's fucking face. So that it's like
you're not supposed to aim for the face.
Well, if a bear is charging you, it's
it's low.
Yeah.
So
you want it to like run into the.
I don't know why I pictured it being like a monster.
Right. I mean, like they do get up on their hind legs, but like they wouldn't be coming at you like that. That's mostly for intimidation, and they'll like charge on all fours.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're supposed to empty the full can. Like you're like supposed to pull the trigger until it's like empty, because you get like one chance. You know, they're like. There's no point in leaving anything in your can of bear spray. You have to like scare the shit out of that bear, make it run away from you, and then get the fuck out of wherever you are.
And then pray there's not a second bear.
Yeah, they don't usually travel in pairs unless you've run into like a mom and cubs, in which case you're like likely pretty fucked.
You're in a pair bear situation. That's so dumb.
Dumb. I hated that.
I had to say it.
I'm so mad that you were looking in me in the eyes.
I was like, am I right?
Pair bears? Pair of bears?
Yeah. I'm going to kill myself after this.
No. No. Fuck.
We're all depressed, right?
Brother, you're so right.
Yeah. No, that's scary. I would be terrified. I love seeing the videos of a bear charging people and they yell back out of it. You seen that? Like, and it gets freaked out.
Yeah. It's the best bear repellent is noise. Like, that's the best way to keep bears away from you is to make noise while you're walking around. So, like, if you...
Well, then why'd you buy the spray?
Because it's like for emergencies.
I'm fucking around.
But, like, when I was like out hiking or backpacking alone, like the best thing to do is just like clap every so often or talk to yourself. Just like...
Oh, in case, so they hear it and they get a little weirded out?
Yeah, because they don't like humans. They don't want to be around you. Like, if you sneak up on a bear, it is because you are upwind of them or downwind of them and they can't smell you and they don't hear you. So
and that's when the danger comes.
Yeah. Or if they have been being fed and they're used to humans as a source of food, which is why it's really important not to feed bears.
Whoa. So if you feed bears and they're used to humans being a source, they might think the source is, they might bite the hand that feeds.
Well, so if they run into a lot of humans and those humans feed them, or if they like smell humans and then find food,
they associate.
They're like, okay, humans are a source of food. Awesome. And so then they're more likely to approach humans because they're like, this is a source of food that hasn't been dangerous to me yet. And so that's when bears get aggressive and will like come up to humans, is when they've become accustomed to humans feeding them.
I feel like just living in Montana, you have to take a bear course.
You end up learning a lot about bears. I did see, so I was living in town. Obviously, I always lived in town. But I was like in town once and like I lived near the base of a mountain and a black bear cub had like wandered into my neighborhood and I heard like this like commotion outside in the alley and like it was these two girls, like college age girls, who were like, oh my God, it's so cute. And I was like,
God.
Fuck. And I went out there and I was like, get the fuck away from this bear. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but get the fuck away from this bear. Like, I don't know how you don't know this yet, but get out of here. And then I called like Fish, Wildlife and Parks and I was like, hey, you're about to have a real big problem on your hands. Like, and they were like, cool, we'll come out. And so,
we'll get out. There's some stoner.
But I was like, the mom is here. Like, you never see a bear cub on your own.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, how do you not know that? I was like, oh, people just don't just know that, you know, like you have to be taught that by somebody.
There's probably a lot of people moving out there too recently, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of not bear knowing people.
Not bear knowing people.
Yeah.
That's what we call them too.
Yeah. It's the official nomenclature.
Well, we're bear knowing people, but those
all these non-bear knowing Californians. They got a bear on their fucking flag. You think they would know?
You think they would know?
Shit. I would love to move out there. I just think it would be great.
Yeah.
I see myself in my old age out there. Just, you know what it was? I think I saw that movie, the Brad Pitt movie. You know what I'm talking about?
A river runs through it.
Oh, that doesn't sound right. He's a rancher in Montana. Legends of the Fall. That's it.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
Oh.
There's another Brad Pitt film that features Montana heavily, and it's
really?
river runs through it. Yeah,
I'll
it's
check that
about
one
fly
out.
fishing.
I didn't watch that one, but yeah, Legends of the Fall, and the ending. He lives in Montana, and he gets killed by a bear, and it's like that's a way to go.
Yeah.
I like that. I like going out in like a weird way.
Sure.
I think that sounds better than just dying in a bed slowly. That sounds kind of shitty.
Yeah.
You agree? I saw a twitch in your eye. You were like,
I mean, I think that like a quick death is like
nice. Yeah.
But I'd like some forewarning. I guess all life is forewarning, right? But like, I'd like to coast along into my old age and then deteriorate fast, you know, and like just die within a couple months.
Yeah. Not have it drawn out.
Yeah. Long drawn out is like tough. And I want to be like mentally with it and like reasonably physically fit for my like life, you know, like I want to still be walking in my 80s. Like that's a specific goal that I have. Cause I think that like being able to experience the world. It's
what
like,
goals do you have? I want to walk in my 80s. Okay.
Well, it's like when I turned 28, I like suddenly was like, oh my God, I'm going to get older. Like I knew that before, but I suddenly felt it. And I was like, I have to take care of myself.
I felt that way at 30. Yeah.
Like I was like, my joints, like I have to care for myself. I have to like eat well and get enough rest and like drink enough water for the next 50 years if I want to maintain any kind of quality of life. Yeah. And like that is important to me. I don't want to be someone who's like old before my time and like just like sitting in a chair like in shambles. And like there's so much you can do throughout your like middle age and like young middle age through like late middle age to like really maintain yourself. And
all the older generation of my Brazilian family, all of the men died at like 50.
Nice.
Just drinking, smoking, being idiots. And then all of my aunts and the females still around today. Like kicking 97 years old, nice. Making jokes, like going out, walking to the store. And I'm like, dude, that's incredible.
Yeah. But well, if I'm still making jokes, like just like even just amongst the people around me, you know, just like we'll still firing off quick ones.
That's
like,
good.
That's great. You know,
that's where it's at.
Yeah.
I would love to. Have you seen that guy who did a Don't Tell special?
Andy Huggins.
The old man?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I've seen him live actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where?
In Houston. He's around. I told him like how much I loved his Don't Tell, and he was like, "Well, thank you. What is your name?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm Serena." Like,
that's incredible.
Yeah,
dude.
he's so cool.
That is incredible. Yeah, I see something like that. I'm like, that's so good.
That's real goals. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the real goal.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I 80 to me though is still that's pretty high.
Yeah. How old are you now?
I'm 31.
Okay.
Yeah. You said you're 28?
No, I'm 30.
You're 30. Okay.
But yeah, it was like right when I turned 28 that I was like, oh fuck, like I have to reorient myself to like this is important, you know?
Yeah. I got that at 30. I remember I was laying in bed and I was looking up at the ceiling when I was like 26 and I was like, I got time. I'm still young. I'm still doing whatever I like doing. Mm-hmm. Like it's cool. And then I remember last year looking up at that same ceiling and I was 30 and I was thinking, holy fuck, I am dying slowly. Yeah. It's happening. Yeah. The creep is coming at me.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know. I feel like there are all these people who are like, God, like at 33, you just don't have the knees anymore. And I'm like, I want to still have the knees, you know, like I want to still be able to like do the things I love. And like, there are people like, I'm a climber and like, I've seen people in like climbing gyms and like, you know, out at the Rock and stuff. And like, there are people who do this like well into their 60s, you know, and it's like, it is possible. You just have to like take care of your body, you know, like it's possible to be so strong for so long if you try and if you make sure that you're not like sitting around all the time, you know?
Yeah, I sit around a lot. That is something I need to be better at is moving my body a little bit more. But I eat so well that I think I have a little bit of leeway. Mm-hmm. I just hate exercise. Yeah. I really do.
I feel like even stretching is like...
Stretching's pretty good.
It's good for you.
Stretching's good.
It's boring, but it's good for you.
Yeah. I'm just a big lounger. That's something I needed to get better at. Having a dog helps, going for like a little walk every day. Yeah. But my mom's like a Pilates teacher, and she's 63, and my dad goes also, and he's 71, and they're like in incredible shape.
Are they here?
They live 5 houses down that way.
No way. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I go to your mom's Pilates class?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
I'll go.
She hosts a bunch of them. I can give you her Instagram. She has like a bunch of different ones.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, she's loved it. Like she quit corporate life and she was like, I'm going to just go teach Pilates.
Yeah.
It was so funny how she started doing it was she would go to the gym. This is a great story. She would go to the gym and she would just do workouts in front of the mirror at the gym, and people would just put mats behind her and then copy her. Because she was so good at it and so confident.
I have never heard of someone just like, that's like a very like natural influencer sort of thing. Like it's very organic.
Oh, she has it for sure.
That's awesome.
She has, and she's very Brazilian. She's very outgoing, and she doesn't hold, like, some people might hold back. She's doing the full thing, like go, like Jane Fonda, like she's getting into it the whole time. And people are like, oh, this is a class, I guess. And they just put the mat behind her and they go too.
That's awesome.
And then eventually someone at the gym was like, do you want to teach a class? Like, dude, you're killing it.
You're bringing people in, dude. That's so cool.
People showing up at the same time the next week. Like, where's that teacher that was here? It's like, that wasn't a teacher.
That was not a class.
She's actually homeless.
That's incredible. That's such power.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah. I'll go to her class.
Yeah. Go to her class. I wish I could get into rock climbing. Rock climbing seems like it would be kind of fun, but I don't know. I'm scared of heights. Terrified of heights.
Okay.
Terrified.
Good thing you're not too tall.
Yo, you thought Pear Bear was bad. Strap the fuck in. Ba, ba, ba.
God, dude.
Holy shit.
You in your eyes.
That's crazy. I do think about that sometimes. Like, when I stand on top of a chair, I'm like, oh, God, I'm so scared. And I'm like, but I'm literally just Yao Ming right now.
Yeah.
And that guy's fine. So
he's chilling. He doesn't fall over that much.
But falling as someone that tall, that must be terrifying. Because that is a long way down.
Yeah, but like, if you fall when you're 7.5 feet tall, your head's not going to hit.
You have a lot of time to react.
Right. Like,
almost too much time.
Hit the ground,
Falling is yelling. You're like, here it comes.
He's like falling like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, like just like slowly. It's gonna take 500 years for him to collapse.
Oh my God, that is so funny. Holy shit, that's a joke. That's fucking funny as hell.
I saw somebody who was like 6'4", like fall like a plank one time because I think he was just like really drunk. Like it was like a bunch of us out at like a St. Patrick's Day parade, and he fell fell backwards, but like didn't react at all and fell like a plank. And it was like one of the funniest things I've
just
ever
because he was
seen.
so drunk.
It just like, took so long. And we were all like, Hunter, what the fuck? Like,
that's funny.
I think he just like didn't realize what was happening for a while, Like,
it's one of the most basic forms of humor is watching someone fall down. So good. It's just so humorous. Because it's like they're fine, but it's just funny, dude. I saw this great video of this baby laughing his ass off. Yeah. Have you seen that?
A video of a baby laughing? You're going to have to be more specific.
It's a baby just...
You heard about AFV?
It's a baby just laughing, and the dad's holding the baby, and all the dad is doing is this. And the baby just dies laughing. Just is dying laughing.
Does that baby want to come to my show?
That thing's good to have around.
That dad is going to have such an inflated sense of himself.
I know. He doesn't realize how good a crowd he has.
Yeah.
But I think it's like such a basic form of humor. It's just surprise, and he knows it's harmless, so he's like, "Oh, that's funny. It's scary, but it's not gonna hurt me."
Yeah.
I think it's interesting.
Nice monogrammed cup, dude.
Yeah, I went to Port A with a group of friends, and one of them works at Yeti.
Ooh.
And he was like,
yo, we got the swag.
He came in with swag. We were like, oh my God, this is so cool.
Yeah.
And there was like maybe 15 of us.
Cool.
So, yeah. But I love this cup. It's great.
Yeah.
I lost the lid, but
probably get a replacement.
Probably, but to be honest, I don't use it. I just
sip water. I feel like the point of having a Yeti is to cover it so that it stays hot or cold. Okay. It's your thing. You follow your heart.
No, yeah, you're right. That's
I don't mean
point.
to come in your home and criticize how you use your
what
own
the
orange
fuck
cup.
are you doing? No, no, you're good. I don't drink hot or cold anything though. That's the thing. I just drink water. That's all I drink.
You don't drink coffee?
No. I have instant only for people that are on the podcast that are like, hey, do you have coffee?
I need coffee.
That's it.
Why don't you drink anything else?
I don't know.
Okay, I can see alcohol bottles.
I do drink alcohol.
Okay.
So I'll drink. Like I'm a drinker of alcohol, but if I'm not drinking alcohol, it's water all day long.
Interesting.
I don't drink. I only drink when I'm doing something fun.
Did you just never develop a taste for coffee? Do you not come from a coffee family?
I like coffee. I think it's great. I just don't care for that in the morning. I don't care to spend money on it either.
Sure.
I don't care to prepare it in the morning.
Okay.
It's just one less thing to do. And I would rather feel the way I feel in the morning than do that.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yep.
But I like it. If I'm at a place and they've got good coffee, I'll drink a coffee. But caffeine hits me hard because I don't drink a lot of it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Same thing with soda. I like soda. I just don't care to buy it.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I hate the idea of being like, I bought $5 worth of soda.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah. I don't like the taste of most sodas, but I've developed a little bit of a taste for some of the like prebiotic sodas that are popular, like Olipop's and like.
Oh yeah,
some of those are pretty good.
You know Jackson Day pretty well, right?
Yeah.
He's always talking about the Olipop. He
Dude,
walked in here
he
Olipop.
got me in like on those.
Got you hooked?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
the reason. And then my sister got me onto sugar-free Red Bull sweetened with monk fruit. Ooh. So they have like a new one that's like it's like sweetened naturally.
Red Bull is pretty good though.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. I won't lie. I'll get a Red Bull vodka if it's gonna be like a long night.
If it's gonna be a night,
I'm getting a Red Bull vodka. Yeah,
Red Bull, baby. Make your own Four Loko. Let's do it.
I think, dude, those are. If I know it's gonna be crazy, that's what's happening.
Yeah. I had somebody tell me once that if she is gearing up for like a regular night, she was having a vodka Red Bull, and I was like, we're never hanging out. I was like, I don't.
Bitch, stay away from me.
I don't want that at all.
I don't need that in my life. I'm trying to pray.
I'm trying to pray these days, bro.
That's the opposite of praying.
Can I tell you my story about Four Loko?
Yeah.
I've only had Four Loko once. I was in Bismarck, North Dakota, which is already tough. And then so my mom lives there now. And so I had moved to live with her for a summer because I had broken my leg and like just needed somewhere to like go.
Right.
And once I was like walking again, I got a job at like the local Irish pub. And so one night I was hanging out with some of my coworkers and they were like, we should go get some Four Lokos. They don't sell them in town, but if we cross the bridge to Mandan, North Dakota, we can go get these Four Lokos.
When a Guinness is an option, that's great.
So we go and we go to the gas station, we get these Four Lokos.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Was this before or after they changed the recipe?
I think it was after.
Oh, okay.
This would have been like 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you cross the border.
Yeah. So we go get the Four Lokos. We go back to Zach's house and we're like hanging out. And one of the girls that we were with, she was like, do you have a straw? So she could like drink from the can with a straw. And I was like, and then at one point she's like playing with the straw and she pulls it like out and it catches the lip of the can a little bit weird. And a single drop of Four Loko flies across the room and into my eye. And I blacked out. I have no memories of the rest of the evening.
What? How did that happen?
I mean, I was already like pretty drunk. Right?
Oh,
like,
okay.
I was just like,
wait, what the
last
fuck?
thing that I remember from that night is like seeing a little, like hearing this like sound and then seeing a little drop. Like, and I was just like,
that tiny bit that absorbed through your eye.
I was like, this is just like such soft tissue that it like got.
It just went right to the dome.
Yeah.
Through the eye into the brain.
I just think that that's so crazy.
Blacking out's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, man.
I black out. That's one thing I've noticed with drinking now is if I drink too much, I will black out. Yeah. And that hasn't been a problem with me in the past.
Yeah.
But lately I'm like, oh shit, that's been happening.
Do you know kind of where the edge is? Like how many drinks you're at?
I have a very good gauge on how much I can drink.
Yeah.
I would say I like drinking. I don't think I am an alcoholic. Although everyone considers themselves to be an alcoholic nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just like drinking recreational. I think it's fun. Uh-huh. And I can tell, like, if enough is coming at me, I'm like, this is going to be the line. Yeah. This is going to throw me over there. And sometimes you'll cross the line if it's a fun night and I'm in a safe place and I know nothing crazy can happen. Sure. Like, I was at a bachelor party in, like, a cabin in the woods, and it's like, yeah, dude, we can get fucking blacked out. Who cares?
Yeah.
But...
just the boys,
you know, at Creek, I'm not going to do that.
No, yeah.
Dude, that'd be crazy. Yeah.
I haven't been drinking since I got here very much. Like, I've had no more than, like, 3 drinks in any night, and, like, not usually more than 1. Because I've just been, like, I'm in a new place, I'm in a new scene, I want to, like, be mindful of, you know, just, like, who I'm talking to, and like just like not get too loose, you know?
Not get too
like,
crazy. Yeah.
Just be like more kind of contained for a little while and just get to know, get comfortable here, get to know.
It's funny how professional comedy is sometimes, even though it comes off as such a non-professional activity.
But it's like, this is an industry full of like sensitive maniacs, you know?
Yeah.
And like, it's good to just be like mindful around that, you know? And like, yeah, I was just like, I'm somewhere new. Like, I'm just gonna chill. And I've decided to like fully stop drinking until after Madison Square Garden. So I'm like, you know, completely like off the sauce right now.
That's good. You're very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not prepared. Mindful, I guess, is one.
Sure.
Like, okay, I need to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to take care of my stuff. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think I just like, I'm really working on developing discipline, and I'm like, I think I'm making some progress, but like
discipline was a better word.
Yeah. I didn't really feel like I had to learn that as a kid. Like, or I could have, I had plenty of opportunities to be disciplined and I just like I turned all of them down.
Yeah.
And like, that's a quality that I think will serve me. You know, it's like, if I can be disciplined, then I can like harness the power of my mind towards what I want.
It's interesting how people who are younger, not experiencing discipline, grow up and are like, I want to experience it. Yeah. Whereas the opposite can happen too. You see a lot of these, like, especially in college, people who grew up in a very disciplined family and they go lose their shit in college because they're like, now I'm free.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. But I think, discipline is definitely, even in comedy, I've noticed it too, where I'm like, I'm getting kind of bored of just doing some of these open mics, but it's about, you know, just keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and it's like, if you're getting bored, is that because like you're not trying, right? Like, it's like, what energy are you bringing in that's like allowing you to get bored?
I think it also depends on the open mic. That is a big thing. There are some where if there's people there, like real human beings, it's fun to tell a joke that I know they haven't heard and then to watch the reaction and then kind of maybe riff a little bit off that reaction and just edit the joke a little bit based on how I'm seeing people react. That's really fun, and I always have a good time with that. But then some of the open mics I go to that are, I would say, more of like a networking event. And it's the same people every time, and I do the same jokes every time. I'm like, am I really going to go up there and do the same bullshit?
Yeah.
Those ones I don't know how to do anything different to excite the fellow comics. You know what I mean? It's like, they've seen me do this. Yeah. So what the fuck am I going to do?
What are we doing? Yeah.
Yeah. So those ones I get bored at. But anyone with like an audience, I still get excited.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting to hear you describe some as like networking events, because I'm like, I always think of it as like, either this is an audition or it is trial, right? Like, I'm trying new stuff, you know, like if it's an audition, like that's like the club mics, you know, anything where like I know somebody in the like present books a show or like, you know, whatever, like I'm like, okay, I want to have a stronger set. And then like, if there's stuff, if I'm at a mic that I'm just like, yeah, like it's, these people know me, then like, I'm just practicing saying this or like trying to find the joke and like,
right.
Just from like saying it out loud, even if I'm not getting much reaction from like fellow comics, you know, like it's like, I know that that's not a good gauge. So I'm just like kind of seeing what it even feels like to say this on stage and what makes sense.
Yeah. But I do see it as a networking event most of the time because I think a lot of the benefit I get is actually not what I'm doing on the stage.
Totally.
It's just being around people that I respect and people that I see do the art. And I'm like, yeah, you're here, I'm here, we're all here. This is what we want to be doing. Yeah. Let's talk. Like, I think the most value I get out of some of these mics now is just chatting with someone about a joke or what they're doing or what's going on with them and learning a little bit. When I go up, I do my jokes and I'm like, all right, it is what it was. But just being around the scene is what is the real gauge, the real benefit.
I realized that about like going out to like Creek also and like just like ending the night there. Typically, like, you know, just like it's like part of my routine now to just like stop by Creek on the way home, you know, and it's like because I know that like everyone is out there and it's like good to just like go say what's up and like just like kind of check in and
just pop in, say hi. Yeah, who's on stage right now?
Stay present in everyone's mind. You know, like it's just like you're like, oh yeah, like I'm part of this community and I'm gonna like maintain the connections that I have.
Yes. And like
it helps me to like, just like be present and be around.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, this is coming from a guy who's been doing real estate for 10 years, but it is literally networking and sales. Yep. It's, you're not pushing anybody. You're just like, hey, I'm still alive. I'm here. Yeah. And then that's it. You move on. And eventually they'll go, hey, you know who's alive and always here? Yeah. Serena. Yeah. Perfect. And it's just that consistent drumbeat that you do of like, I'm here. And that's for any industry. I mean, it's interesting how comedy is no different. It's just the same. Yeah. It's just work.
Yeah. Well, it's like, like treat it like a job if you want it to be your job.
Yes.
And like accept the parts of it that you don't like, just like you accept the parts of your job that you don't like.
Yes. Yeah. And I hate network. I was talking to someone earlier, like I hate bothering people are always like, you got to talk to bookers and like get on their bit level. And it's like, yeah, but it also sucks to be pandering to people, like bothering them and being like, get me on a show. Yeah. That's kind of shitty. But.
Well, it also like, you can always tell if someone wants something from you. Like, I feel like as a booker, you can always tell if someone wants something from you.
Completely agree.
And so like, I don't know. Perhaps this is the wrong tactic, but I always like to just like come right out and be like, hey, I'd love to come to your show, because then it's like, at least
you're totally forthright.
At least I'm not wasting everybody's time, but being like, how are you,
like, how the kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, not that I don't care and not that I don't like end up having those conversations, but it's like, I don't know. I was talking to somebody the other day and he was like, and like, I had like asked for an introduction and then I like met the guy and he was like, well, what can I do for you? And I was like, I want the same thing everybody else wants from you. And he was like, fair enough. And I was like, great. Like, and it was like, it was so
mutual,
chill. And like, I was like, yeah, we understand each other, you know, like, you know what I want from you. Like, there's no need to do this dance. And I think that there was like a little bit of an appreciation of like,
cool. No, that's the way to do it. If you're fake, then it's just like, what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's cool. I feel like I haven't met a lot of like people that I feel super fake here.
Yeah. I felt that way as well, which is actually surprising.
Yeah.
I would have thought it would be way more, but I actually think it translates to the comedy.
Yeah.
I think if you're a genuine person, you're probably also pretty funny. Mm-hmm. And I think when people go, oh, that guy's not even funny, then it doesn't translate to being genuine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
It's weird. I've never seen someone that I'm like, that guy's really fucking good on stage and he's a piece of shit guy. I've like, not even seen that, you know?
It's like, you could even, not be a particularly good guy, but you're like upfront about it, Like, it's like, you're very genuine.
Genuine.
And like thoroughly what you are.
Yeah. And I would argue that the genuine guy who's a piece of shit, he wouldn't go up to a booker and be like, "Ooh, how are the kids?"
Yeah.
He'd be like, "Get me on a show, pussy." Like
Yeah.
you would fucking punch him in the face.
Totally, yeah.
And that's, again, like, I respect that. You're
Yeah.
being yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. There's something like, yeah, just fundamentally honest about it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Oh. Shit.
What else? What else? We're hour and 49.
Okay.
I'm getting a pulse check now. I'm down to keep going if you're down to keep going.
What do you usually do about 2?
I do however long the person feels comfortable continuing to talk.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little like gassed, I'll be honest. Like I like don't feel like I have a whole lot more to say.
I can't believe you would say that. No, I'm joking. What the fuck are you saying?
I feel like just like won't. I feel like I wouldn't be like being super present anymore.
Okay.
You know,
We'll do one more hour. No,
okay, perfect.
no, we can call it. You want to call it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Is there anything you like to ask or like you want to talk about?
No, I think this was pretty good.
Cool.
I think this is pretty fun.
Sweet.
The big thing I wanted to talk to you about was Kill Tony and just kind of get a vibe on your overall opinion of it. But I think just seeing you talk and everything that you said today kind of gave me a lot of perspective on just how you are as a person. It sounds like, you're nervous. You're like, I'm thankful I've been given this opportunity. I'm going to treat it well. I'm going to treat it right. And it was crazy wholesome. And I was like, that's perfect. That's good.
Yeah. The Kill Tony thing, it's like, it feels like I've talked it to death. And also like, there are so many people who just have no idea about that about me. You know, like it's like,
Do you have a day job?
Not anymore. I was working in a coffee shop and, I kept leaving to go do shows and they were like, you're never here anymore. Like, and it was very peaceful. Like my boss was like, I need to hire someone who can be here. And I was like, I totally understand.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But I'm lucky. I'm able to live on savings until after I get back from New York.
Oh, so nice. Wait, when do you go?
So the show is August 16th. Yeah.
Madison Square Garden, of course. Yeah. I was like, oh, you're going to New York.
Yeah. So I'll be there for a couple weeks and then like I'll have to find a job when I come back. But I'll also like my life might be really different from then. So I'll have like a little bit of a cushion to just see what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I can use this time to just prepare for that. So I'm like, just working on my material, working on like, I'm getting my own podcast going.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And doing some other just like stuff to support whatever comes next.
Yeah. You got a theme for the podcast?
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't talked about this at all publicly yet.
I love when you mentioned I'm doing my own podcast. You looked at me like, ooh.
Sorry. Another one in the sea.
Yeah.
No, it's like, none of it has like launched yet. I just got the mics in the mail today.
Nice.
But the theme of it is going to be like, I'm going to talk to comedians about like, ask them to tell me a story that they don't get to tell on stage a lot. So like whatever that means to them, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm hoping for like the comedy to sort of come out of like them telling me the story.
Right.
But yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a funny story, but like probably will end up being stories that just like for some reason or another don't work for that well on stage.
Yeah. I have a lot of those. I won't lie to you.
Right. Yeah. And I'm still figuring everything out, but
even like on my, like I post a lot of stuff on social media and I've noticed a lot of the stories I tell, I'm like, that does not work on stage.
It doesn't.
I've tried to do it and like, this is just not a stage story.
Yeah. And there's like, I think all of us have like a lot of those.
Yeah.
And I think that there's like something so fun about like, here's just like another avenue to like, be really like fun and funny and like relate your experiences.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that it's a show that like comedians are excited to do.
That's funny. I did this. I'm going to do mine now because now you got me curious. So I have a story about, I have this, when I was a kid, it was like the most insane thing I've ever done. But I don't know why I did. I guess I thought it was funny. There was this Indian kid in my class. He was like a Sikh. and one day I stole his juice box.
Cool.
And I ran to the other side of the school and I stomped on it. And then I went to the lunch area to watch him eat lunch. And he sat down and he opened his lunchbox and he just like looked confused.
Yeah.
And I just watched him eat his lunch without the juice.
And you didn't tell him to hide and go seek?
I didn't tell him anything. And then we were all lined up to go back into class. And I was standing behind him and I leaned in and I said, "You didn't have your juice today, did you?" And the kid
like
looked at me.
Like an evil little voice from behind.
I know.
Like over one shoulder. I know that probably he wasn't, but in my head, he's wearing like one of the like traditional turbans.
He had a turban.
He did?
He did. Yeah, he had a turban.
I didn't realize they would have them so young.
Yeah, like I said, if you're a Sikh, then yeah, you get him right away.
Wow.
His hair was really long. He showed everybody in class once. But and then I got in so much trouble because my parents, they had to sit me down and go, "Eric, you don't understand. That was a fucking hate crime." And I was like, "Oh, what?" Like I didn't understand.
It was just a regular crime.
Yeah. But I didn't understand that, and I was picking on him because he was different. Like that probably is what was going on.
Sure.
Yeah. But I was also like 9.
I mean, like, I guess so. I don't know. That sounds like normal kid stuff to me.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I think so too. But it's just it's interesting that it got taken to that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's my story.
That's so serious. That's so funny.
But anyway.
Well, now I can't have you on my show. We already covered
I'll get another one. I got other ones. But that's just one that I'm always like, how do I make that a joke? Because people would just look at me and be like, "You're crazy. You're an insane person."
Yeah.
I was like, "No, I was 9." So.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I don't know.
But we're calling it. Peace. Nice.